Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Today we've got a special video and I finally came back from my break. Inshallah, look out for some consistent uploads on this channel from now on, and be sure to subscribe to my second channel if you haven't already. But without further ado, we're going to get into today's video, which is going to be on the topic of some Christian teenager who decided to record a convo with me, to split that convo up, as well as to remove and mishmash clips everywhere, as well as to add sound effects and a commentary on our debate. Bro had to do all of that, and what had occurred was he thought he got away with it. He thought he got away with the fact that he wasn't going to send me the whole discussion, because obviously he omitted all the parts that he was uncomfortable with showing his audience, because obviously he felt like he inadequately responded to these points. One of these points is actually him conceding that Justin Martyr believes in an ontological difference between the Father and the Son, which is a big admission. This disqualifies him from being a Nicene Trinitarian. So without further ado, we're going to be showing that clip as well as a couple others that he decided to omit. Funnily enough, he did not want to send a clip, but an honest Christian got it from him and decided to send it to us, even though him and his whole Discord server were manifesting at the fact that he was sending it to us. So shout out to that guy. And without further ado, let's expose these Coptic Christians' deception. Guys, I just wanted to add this last bit because I remembered this comment he pinned on the video that he uploaded with the edited footage and clipped out sections. He says here, for those Muslims asking for the unedited footage, I'd be an idiot to send the same public footage you see here, but without all the sound effects. So it seems like you are an idiot then, because you did send them through. He says, I have offered Deen the clipped out sections alone and even asked him what I should send him in specific that I clipped out that he views as relevant and containing his points. As he and I know, they are all irrelevant and contain nothing. The funny thing is here, what he's really saying is, and this is what he was saying before basically, I'm not stupid. You are going to pretend like these clipped sections don't exist. Obviously, you're just going to say, oh, no, that one doesn't exist. I never concede that Justin Martyr believes in ontological difference between the two.
I mean, in a sense that a Nicene Trinitarian can look at it and they can say, yep, co-equal, co-eternal, Father, Son, Holy Spirit. They believe in this doctrine. So that's what I mean when I say Trinitarian, okay? So first person I would want to bring up is like Justin Martyr. Do you believe Justin Martyr is a Nicene Trinitarian?
Justin Martyr, he has like Platonic tendencies. Would he be consistent with what's said at Nicea? Sure. Does he make some mistakes? Yes, he does make mistakes.
Okay, so like, well, does he believe the Father and Son are co-equal?
It depends on what co-equal designates. Like, what do you mean by co-equal?
Yeah, so like, they'll have the same knowledge, they'll have the same goodness, they would have the same rights in terms of you would worship
It
the Father
seems
and the Son.
for Justin Martyr, the one thing that will not be equal in the Father and the Son would be how one is able to enter creation and the other isn't. And he demonstrates that.
But there's, yeah, so I agree with that. But even like other sects of Christianity, they would say that's fine because it's merely him taking on a different role. But what Justin lays out, I want to see if you agree. It's the reason isn't due to role. It's the reason is due to
I agree.
different.
The one thing I think Justin Martyr gets wrong is he does believe it. There's something ontological in the case of being begotten that allows you to communicate in the created order,
Beautiful.
and
Okay,
not the Father.
I appreciate the genuinity because you know how many Trinitarians would tell me no. They're like, no, it's just a role. No, he's talking about the human nature. Blah 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 blah. Right. So I appreciate that. You're right. He even says that the Son, because he is begotten, don't think it's the Father. Like we're speaking to Trifo here, he'll be like, yeah, the Son has hands and feet, and yeah, and he's composite. The Father can't be, so it must be the Son that appeared, right? So
I don't think
I
he
agree
goes
with
that
that.
far.
Okay,
Like that would be like something like you'll hear from a Thomist making that kind of argument. I don't think Martyr goes into like composition, mutability. In his system, being generated allows him to interact with the created order, but he would still, I think it's pretty clear, especially in some modern scholarship, that he does believe Usia wise there's a commonality and there's diversity, and he doesn't believe he's a creature, things like that.
yeah, they share the same substance. Yeah, Tertullian believed that too.
Yeah, yeah,
right?
but
Then
not
you,
not in a
but then it
semi-Aryan
violates.
fashion. Because Nicene Trinitarian, literally all that designates what was disagreed upon at Nicaea, what the Nicene party would
Yeah,
affirm and the Arian party would affirm. It was really just the tenet of homoousios, stuff like divine energetic appearances, theophanies, that kind of
right,
stuff. I wouldn't say that makes you Nicene or non-Nicene.
right. So, like for example, an ontological difference would mean that if the reason why Jesus came down in the Old Testament is because of an ontological difference, and when you said like hands and feet and so on, like have you read all of Dialogue with Trifo, or you've
Yeah,
read parts to make your okay? So in 100 chapter 114, he says what I said. He says, "I shall not intelligently, but just as your teacher supposed," speaking to Trifo, fancying that the Father of all, the unbegotten God, has hands. So again, he's emphasizing the unbegotten nature as the reason why, like you said, has hands and feet and fingers and a soul, like a composite being. And they, for this reason, teach that it was the Father himself who appeared to Abraham and to Jacob. So he's saying, like, I wouldn't say that about the Father because he's unbegotten. It's more suitable for the Son, right? So he goes that far.
he's
Okay.
making like a similitude when he says like a composite being. I know the passage you're talking about. And
Yeah.
he cites a verse prior as like the works of thy finger, and he's saying that's a reference to the Son. Yeah, I know what passage
Yeah.
you're talking about. Justin
Justin
Martyr,
Martyr wouldn't be Trinitarian.
Justin Martyr, he would at least I would show that he's in line with Nicaea. As for how he views the Holy Spirit, I don't think there's enough language to either be for or against. It's like epistemologically unknown. Obviously, as Trinitarians, we'd claim him because he doesn't say anything to the contrary. But like his documents
Well,
are way too early to start applying deity to the Holy Spirit. I can show you people very early on doing that, however, like even in the
right,
apostolic era, worshiping the Spirit.
right. Okay, okay. But the thing is, like, Justin Martyr, if there's a silence of worshiping the Spirit, but he emphasized worshiping God alone, worshiping the Father, and I'm granting you worshiping the Son, that is good evidence against it
It
because
wouldn't
he
be.
doesn't
That's
mention the
just
worshiping
that's
of
a
the Spirit.
complete argument from silence. Like
Yeah, but
in the New
yeah,
Testament,
but
like
wait. I just want to clarify one thing. Are arguments from silence always fallacious?
it depends on the type of argument from silence.
Right. So in this case, what am I saying? I'm saying you would expect evidence of him laying out the worshiping
Not
of the
really,
Spirit.
not really,
Why wouldn't you? Why?
because his works are not written for that specific question. Nobody's asking that.
Right, but he does mention the worshiping of the
Like
Father and the Son,
I'll
right?
give you an example of like a valid argument from silence. If you have like for example, a controversy where someone is saying Jesus is the color green, something like that, something random, and then you have some patristic author who's writing against people who say on the color of Jesus, and then he doesn't specify the color. That would be an argument from silence that could work. Like, why is he not talking about it in this specific context? He ought to talk about it. But here in the dialogues with Trifo, in his let's grant his entire corpus, first apology, second apology, if you want to assume it's authorship, nothing from his opponents are they really care like about whether or not Holy Spirit is
Right,
worshipped.
right. But the thing is, I know what like a good argument and bad argument from science like is, but what I'm saying is he goes to the extent of mentioning worshiping God alone multiple times in his writings, and he mentions
Because that he's
worshiping the
writing to a
Father,
Jew. Yeah.
right? Right. Yes. And he mentions the God that he worships in these contexts, being the Father, and then you're saying the Son as well, which you're gonna bring me. Why would he not mention the Spirit? Like, it is a good argument from science.
Which
Where does he say that the Holy Spirit is God in the same sense of the Father or the Son? Where does he even say that there's this equation between the two?
in this passage doesn't mention it. Why would he mention
No. I'm saying like in his books. Where
it?
does he ever
In
do that?
general, no one contested that for him to make an apology for it. When you want to refute or make a positive claim for something, it's in the context of
Right.
refuting
So
something.
so 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 you're telling me Irenaeus never explicitly mentions divinity of the Spirit. Justin Martyr never explicitly mentions divinity of the Spirit. How many arguments from silence are we going to work out here? I'm gonna say translation to use.
Say NKJV.
Engage. Okay. If I pull it up right now, what's it going to say?
It's gonna say, but one that is God.
No. Before that, is it going to say,
What?
"Why do you call me
Why
good?"
do
Or
you
why do
call
you
me
ask
good?
me
No
what
one
is
is
good?
good, but one that is God. Yeah.
Okay. So why does he change it? Why does KJV change it?
I wouldn't say. What do you mean KJV? Like, or what are you talking about? What other translation?
Matthew 19:17 for KJV says, "Why do you call me good?" I thought it was, "Why do you ask me what is good?"
Even if it says, "Why do you call me good?" Why do you ask me what is good? It means the same thing. because he's saying good teacher.
How does it mean the same thing?
He's calling him good teacher.
No, and in the Matthew, he doesn't say good teacher. They change it. It's teacher.
But even with that,
If you guys want to see the full unedited footage, and you can probably find more clips than what I found. I just took the most substantive ones. But if you want to check it out, I mean, this guy omitted all the sections that just made him look bad. He doesn't have knowledge on certain things, gets things wrong. He omitted literally every single part, refined it, put sound effects on his video, added a commentary to his video, as well as obviously omitted sections like I mentioned before and as we've shown today. What I'm going to do is, inshallah, I'll be uploading on the second channel the whole entire debate tomorrow, just so I don't overload the first channel with uploads, as I'm looking to upload tomorrow, inshallah, as well as the days coming with other content. So just be sure to subscribe to my second channel, keep the bell on, and the upload should be on there soon of the full unedited footage whenever my editor does get a thumbnail done for that. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh.